Hello, and welcome to Marking Out with my girlfriend.
This is my girlfriend, Erin.
This is my girlfriend, Kat.
And MDK all motherfucking day, baby!
Okay, before we get into any of that, I need to point out I got a new Eat Cereal shirt in, and her shirts are consistently the softest ones I own. The AEW Global's doing pretty good with their Guild and Soft. It's nothing like this, though. This is good stuff.
I'm glad that Edie makes good shirts.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that probably could have gone in the pre-show.
I want to put it in the main show
That's fair.
on the off chance that she listens.
Well, we know the Young Bucks listen to the show, right?
Of course we do.
It's been confirmed.
How else do we get 86 weeks of absurd tag team matches? Oh, wait, no. That was the number of competitors. Sorry.
They have not had 86-man tag matches. 43 people to a side? There's not enough space on a ring for that. That'd have to be like an 86-person stadium stampede match.
Oh, you could do it as a Cybernetico.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I guess you could do like a... That would be a very, very long Tornado Cybernetico, though.
That's going to be about a 3-hour match.
If
Unless
you go
really
quickly.
cut things down.
Okay.
Okay, so let's fantasy this for a minute. Who's going to be on each side, though? No,
I'm not gonna name 43 different wrestlers.
Isn't that just Joey's clusterfuck? Maybe.
But the correct answer to that question is AEW versus NXT.
That's a really simple way of doing it, actually.
Yes, it is. And it would work.
And it would get better brand showing up than the SmackDown versus Raw Survivor Series tournaments.
You'd actually have, you know, not Vince McMahon style wrestling happening.
Oh, we'll see about that.
Okay, yes, the Performance Center does teach people Vince style wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, a lot of the big names at NXT came from the indies. Or came from Japan, as it were, with Shinsuke. Like, came from having done everything but WWE in the case of Samoa Joe.
I mean, Joe was in a WWE ring a couple times between injuries.
For Joe. I'm glad that he's with NXT now, so he can actually start to, like, I mean, I know he's, like, backstage and everything like that, but he can start to be injected into interesting storylines.
Yeah, work with interesting people.
Work with people who aren't choo-choo trains.
But that guy doesn't work there anymore.
Oh, that's right, he got fired. Because the choo-choo train thing was too embarrassing.
Which makes you wonder whose idea was the choo-choo train
Almost
thing?
assuredly Vince's idea. Which is why when it got made fun of, Braun Strowman got fired.
Oh, goodness. Okay. Before we dump on WWE for the next 2 hours.
Only 2 hours?
I
don't have more in me. I want to get high tonight.
Yeah.
The train noise cost too much.
Cost.
They definitely pulled it off of, like, free sound.
Oh, yeah. This was definitely royalty free.
So, do we want to talk about what's been going on in AEW over the last 2 weeks at Fyter Fest?
Oh, I would love to.
Okay. Let's talk about Fyter Fest then.
Do you want to do it by feud?
We can do it by feud. I think doing it by feud is fun.
Okay. So last week at Fighter Fest, we started the show off with Mox and Carl Anderson for the IWGP US title, which has been one of the more defended titles in AEW history.
Yeah, no, there's been okay, I'd like to compare the number of title defenses for belts not from AEW to the number of title defenses from belts for AEW, just to see.
Okay, so the IWGP US title and the NWA
Women's versus, you
the
know what,
TNT title.
Yeah, let's just say TNT title and AEW women's title.
Okay, that's a fair comparison.
Yeah, I think that's a fair comparison. I think.
Are you pulling this up now?
Yeah, let me pull this up.
Okay, while you look for that, I'm just gonna let everyone know that this match was done under New Japan rules. So they had like a 20 count on the outside. The ref, was a little more lenient, a little less useful than normal. And honestly, it can be easily forgotten with Carl Anderson since he's come out of WWE that he was originally a singles wrestler. He at one time he was an IWGP champion himself. He was the head of Bullet Club. And he's a really good singles wrestler. And they actually got to show that.
Yeah, he is. So it's like it's fun to get to see tag team people who we now associate with tag team wrestling branch off on their own, like when CD had singles matches. Because he's so heavily associated with SCU these days. Yep. He was so heavily associated with SCU. Bwah, bwah.
Oh. Now we just have the Elite Hunter. But yeah, it's like I want to see more Carl Anderson singles matches. That's what I'm getting at here. I'm sure Gallows would make a very good mouthpiece on the outside. Or in his own, I don't find him as interesting in singles. But I can definitely watch it.
There's some sort of crass Good Brothers style joke to be made about calling Gallows a mouthpiece.
Yep. There definitely is.
Did you hear it as soon as you said it?
As soon as you pointed it out, I did.
I'm sorry, you set me up. It's the Good Brothers. You know the two things they're about are getting high and catching a kiss and occasionally sour face.
And some cheating. Lots of cheating in the ring and outside the ring.
Lots of cheating, yeah. Just in the ring?
Outside the ring, too.
Cheating?
Ooh, I don't want to touch that one.
I do, because I'm the worst.
Oh, okay.
Hold on, I gotta turn my friggin' ring light on. I forgot about that. I'm so bad.
Yeah. We haven't done this in 2 weeks. We're just gonna forget everything. Anyway. So yes, we got a very good match out of this. That saw Mox winning in the end. And then, immediately being challenged by Lance Archer.
Okay.
Who he beat for the IWGP US Championship a year and a half ago at Wrestle Kingdom in a Texas death match. So they decided, let's do that again in Texas because we're traveling again.
It's a good idea. Good programming.
Mm-hmm. And so that was a Texas death match they put on.
Now, was it a death match or was it a
AEW
I would call this a death match?
I would call this a hardcore match.
Okay.
It's not quite death match. You're not going to see it on H2O.
Not going to have some light tubes getting cracked over someone's head.
Exactly. But they went out and they fought through the crowd and they got to the outside and you could blatantly see Archer blading. Yeah, there's a lot of blood. There's a lot of weapons, and there was a couple tables with barbed wire on them. Better barbed wire than in the last one.
Okay. Update. There were 26 TNT title defenses and 17 women's title matches in AEW history. I'm still researching the other stuff, but I doubt it's going to be more than 40.
The NWA one
was not defended
double
40
digits.
times.
And then the US Championship was 5 or 6, I think, right now. Anyway, I'm still telling you about this match where, kendo sticks and trash cans and pulling up the floor mats. And it ended up on this one with Lance Archer putting Mox through 2 tables with barbed wire on them, and Mox couldn't answer a 10 count. Probably partially because he was being held down by barbed wire.
Yeah, that'll do ya. So it was, I don't know. I'm a weird perv, and I enjoy watching people get bloody.
Yes, you do.
I thought that was a fun match.
This match is right up your alley.
Yes, it is. Perfect match for me.
Yeah, lots of bleeding, lots of biting.
I mean, there's a reason why I watch deathmatch wrestling.
Yes, there is.
I think, like, just one time I would like to get a light tube. I'd like to get hit by a light tube. No more than once, just to feel what it feels like. Because it has to be indescribable.
Yeah, I don't know what you'd expect from it, because it's light glass and gas.
So, like... Thank you, Lilith. Someone understands me.
Weirdos.
It would just be cool. Like, it'd be an interesting experience, and it would give me a greater context for what it feels like when someone's wrestling a deathmatch with light tubes. I don't think it's that weird. Like, I mean, okay, so, like, you kind of have a pretty good grasp of what it's like to fall down and, like, onto a hard surface, right? Everyone's tripped and fallen before.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Everyone's fallen getting off the swing set. Everyone's been hit by a chair. All those are reasonable things to understand. But a light tube?
My mom yelled at me for getting hit by a chair. Because it was one of her good chairs.
Okay, that's reasonable.
It was also a wooden bottom chair. Pretty sure I got a concussion out of that.
Yeah, okay. You're like, that. You know that video of those, like, British guys who are all shirtless hitting each other with the chairs, and the one guy messes up and, like, hits the guy in the spine with the, like, edge of the chair instead of the flat of the chair, and the guy just, like, collapses onto the ground because they're all pissed drunk? That's what it sounds like you're describing.
I mean, not quite, because I still finished the match.
That sounds about right.
I then got DDT'd onto the thing.
Ay.
Mom didn't like that one either.
No.
Again, it was the good chair.
Because
it was the only folding chair we could find.
Go to the hardware store and buy one.
We didn't have a car that day.
My God.
Like, you know how hard it is to carry folding chairs back when you're all on bikes?
Could you not get bungee cords and strap it to your back?
Like some weird backpack?
Yeah. Like your, what's his face? You know the guy from, the world's first Stranding type game.
World's first Stranding? What?
It's the main character from Death Stranding.
Oh, okay.
Which Hideo Kojima described as the world's first Stranding type game. Because he assumed people would want to make... Yes, Norman Reedus and the Funky Fetus, thank you.
I guess really what I could have done is put it, like, between my back and my backpack.
Yeah.
That would have worked.
Yeah. But that would have required a little bit more forethought. than
And
you were capable of, given that you did take a DDT onto that chair.
yeah, I wasn't known for my foreplanning as a kid or as an adult. One probably led to the other.
Yep. Oh god, Aaron.
Part of me misses backyard wrestling. Part of me definitely doesn't.
Yeah, the survival instinct part of you, the part of you that's happy to be alive now because you transitioned instead of being a depressed egg.
I took chair shots to feel things, man.
That I don't know that that's a false statement.
Yeah, I know. I gotta think on that one, actually. I might have just expressed myself.
Oh, Aaron, I love you. This is such a weird fucking show. Oh,
I love you too.
The only kind of wrestling I did as a kid was like the very, very, very worked wrestling that I did with my brother.
Mm-hmm.
His finishing move was basically picking me up from under, like, from my underarms and kneeing me in the coccyx. It was not a comfortable finishing move.
No?
It was effective, because, ow!
Yeah. I just did a rock bottom.
I don't think I ever won a match. So I spent many years jobbing to my brother in
Who
bedroom
didn't go
wrestling.
anywhere.
Took a DDT underground, which I don't recommend. Yep.
Yeah.
There's a lot of regrettable things that we do as children.
When we're young and indestructible and fueled on testosterone.
Yeah, no, I mean, I probably still would have done dumb stuff where I fueled on estrogen, just not violent dumb stuff.
I would have done different dumb stuff.
Yep.
Potentially more damaging dumb stuff now that I think about it.
Like what?
Anyway. Like, don't worry about it.
Okay, that's fair. Anyway, what's the
Back
next
to
thing we want to
AEW.
talk about? Do we want to talk about what's going on with Orange Cassidy and Sting and Darby and Wheeler Yuta?
And the Blade and Bunny and all of this?
Orange Cassidy's got a couple of feuds going on right now, huh?
Yeah, there's like a whole thing going on. Like, first of all,
Hey, Moki, welcome.
they've basically brought Wheeler Yuta into AEW. We're just waiting for the All Elite announcement.
You know, probably a pretty good fit.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder who gets the independent wrestling title after that, then.
I don't know, but he's still got a couple shows coming up where he's booked as such, so we'll see.
Fingers crossed that it goes to someone cool.
Yep. I mean, that's not hard to do on indie wrestling.
It's indie wrestling. It could be literally any number of really, really amazing people. So yeah, he's got his thing with Wheeler Yuta and Darby. He's got his thing with the Bunny and the Blade. Is kind of him and Statlander as a team.
Yep.
But yeah, no. Orange Cassidy and Sting facing off is probably the highlight of this week for me.
Okay. So knowing that Orange Cassidy was coming out with Wheeler Yuta, because I was on the poster, it's like, he's gonna bump into Sting at some point. How is Sting gonna react to that?
We got the best possible reaction, I think, which was
entirely.
It's like it worked so well.
Kick.
But let's talk briefly here about the way that this is booked, because I think it's fascinating.
Okay.
By pairing Orange Cassidy with someone who is okay, so I don't know, like, Wheeler Yuta is a heel
on the indies.
On the indies, is he booked as a face?
He's been more of a face in AEW.
Darby is also a face.
Yeah, no, they just had a good match. Like, what was the other match they had on here? They had Nyla Rose and Britt Baker, who are both supposed to be heels.
Mm-hmm.
So they booked a heel versus heel and a face versus face match. But yeah, Wheeler Yuta, when he started, he had first match with Carl Anderson.
Right.
Second match with, I can't remember. And then the third was teaming up with Best Friends against a jobber team. No, Private Party. Basically a jobber team at some points.
Yeah. It's interesting because I'm just so prepared to boo Wheeler Yuta that I'm like already set with my ready to just like
ready
and then he comes out and he's like with the Best Friends and it's like, yeah, no, he's cool. Are we sure about that?
I'm a little bit culture shocked, but I'm recovering. I'm okay with this. Let's go.
It's just, you know, he's a very good heel on the indies. There's unless it was like a thing where like Orange Cassidy specifically requested like, hey, if we're looking for new young talent, I got your guy, it's Wheeler Yuta. I'll even mentor him.
Because Orange Cassidy and Chuck Taylor were both trainers of his.
Yeah.
Like, Wheeler Yuta comes out of Chikara, so...
There's a lot of talent that's come out of Chikara. It's pretty impressive.
Mm-hmm.
So, like... Yeah, no, it just feels a little... I think I might like indie wrestling better.
Yeah,
that's my secret.
Totally fair.
Is that I enjoy indie wrestling more than I enjoy the big brands.
Yeah, no, that's totally fair. And I can understand that as someone who's been watching all of AEW for the past 3 weeks. There's a lot of it.
Yeah, it's a lot. Like between there's gonna be pretty soon. There's going to be 4 AEW shows every week.
2 of them of variable length. They could be 45 minutes. They could be 3 hours.
Yeah, Okay, let's talk about giving Cesaro, aka Claudio Castagnoli, a belt.
Do it.
Yes, you should do it because he's one of the best wrestlers in the world.
Mm-hmm.
He's just not a Vince wrestler.
No, he's far too talented. I shouldn't say that. A lot of really talented guys are Vince wrestlers.
Right, but they are talented because they work as Vince wrestlers in a company that emphasizes Vince wrestling.
Yeah, they
makes them shine more because that's who they're working against.
Yep.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of people who I would like to see be able to do other things.
At the same time, I can see why Cesaro isn't going to be one of those guys they ever let go on a Wednesday. Because he can just make anyone they need shine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because he's very talented and he can put people over.
We love our Mysterious ice cream.
As an aside, we're going to skip a couple hours ahead, like an hour and a half ahead. My recommendation for this week is you should watch the cage match between Cesaro and Brody Lee. Claudio Castagnoli and Brody Lee. It's on YouTube.
Yeah, I will go find it.
It's an incredible match. I can pull it up.
But I've already got it.
Okay. So, this is like one of the defining matches of the, I'd call it like mid-2000s, late 2000s era of Chikara. Right before the fake shutdown that was a real shutdown.
Mm-hmm.
Right around... It's one of those matches.
That real, like, golden era that people look back with nostalgia.
I mean, like, Meltzer gave it 5 stars and is an indie show.
Yep.
That should tell you all you need to know. Okay, so what other feuds we have going on? We have I'm like I said, I think my summary is I like Orange Cassidy and Sting mirroring each other. I thought that was cute and fun. Um, that was
Honestly, watching him do the kicks, like, okay, this is cool. And then he just goes in that, and I lost it. I
mhm.
was gone. You could ask Ray, I was completely gone.
It's just like I don't know. I think it's fun to let people with such different styles just kind of like have a little bit of fun.
Yeah, give him a
Like
moment.
I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, and Jim Cornette would agree that I am wrong. But fuck Jim
On a
Cornette.
lot of things.
I think wrestling should be fun.
Yeah.
Like you should have fun watching wrestling. It's not a
Hmm.
real sport, so you should have fun with it.
Like, I understand you get into the main event pictures and stuff. Yes, it gets more serious up there. There's, you want to put value on the prize they're all working towards there.
Right.
You get lower in the card, you can have a lot of fun.
You could still have fun at the top of the card. Like,
Hmm.
you can't tell me that the weird video game. You can't. When Kenny Omega does his Kefka-esque promos, it's fun, right? Like he's playing this cartoonish villain.
Hmm.
He's doing his little cackle laugh, and like you're allowed to have fun with those things. They
Yeah.
don't all have to be life or death.
But at the
Like
same time, the attitude of the entire group he surrounded himself with makes that look more serious, which is really good on all of their parts, actually.
right, no, like I think like the point that I would like to make here is that you can be funny, you can have fun, and still have the characters treat it seriously,
Yes.
right? Like, I mean, there's a reason why corpsing is a term, because objectively, a lot of stuff that wrestlers say is funny. I mean, like, just
Especially out of
look back
context.
at look back at like 80s and 90s wrestling, where it was a question of how many like homoerotic jokes can we fit in while not breaking.
Yep.
The amount of times that some wrestler or another growled that he was gonna beat his opponent off or something like that, like it's clearly intended to be funny.
Yeah, if nothing else, if the audience isn't paying attention for whatever reason, it'll just go over their heads and they'll think you're just being threatening.
Right.
Everyone paying any attention is gonna lose themselves.
Because it's funny. I don't know. I think people should be allowed to enjoy the things that they watch, you know?
That would be great. There's some people who complain though that I don't think even enjoy the stuff they watch, so
No, like the weird Cornette fans who like for so the ones who especially the ones who like fucking hate Nick Gage because he's
yeah.
the ones who are like he's a criminal, he shouldn't be on TV. Meanwhile, how many ex-cons has Cornette booked?
Yes. Because it used to be one of the only jobs you could get as an ex-con.
I mean, I mean, Cornette is basically responsible for New Jack having a career.
Mm-hmm.
Are we gonna just forget about New Jack? He's only been dead for like a month.
No, they love New Jack. No, they don't. I don't understand them or what they want.
Like, and I have absolute. I'm not trying to like shame any of these wrestlers for their past. Like, I mean, like look at Booker T.
Yep. No, most wrestlers you come across will have some kind of record. It's just kind of a thing where you deal with the atmosphere of a lot of 80s, 90s, and even early 2000s wrestling backstages. Like, that's just what happens.
And like I don't. A lot of the criticism that they level at Nick Gage is that he's a meth head or whatever, and like,
Yeah,
how many of the guys that Jim Cornette booked were coke fiends? It was like all of them in the 80s. Like, wrestling and coke are best friends.
Yeah, especially when you get to places like WWE, where weed is against company policy. You have to go to something as a painkiller.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be drugs or pills or alcohol.
And coke goes out of your system very quickly.
Yep. Like back in the early 90s even, like the Nasty Boys were getting in trouble with this because they had weed with them. Because that's the one that won't get you killed.
That's the one that, like, most of the time, the worst thing that's gonna happen is you maybe eat a little bit too much.
Yeah. Or you're completely immune and whatever.
Okay. We need to find alternative methods because clearly edibles don't work. There's a strong chance that you are just much like Scott Steiner, a genetic freak.
Yep.
And are immune to THC. Which is kind of frustrating.
A little bit, actually. I don't get to do fun things.
But anyway.
That was a tangent.
Yes, it was.
You know what else is a good tangent? Brian Cage versus Ricky Starks.
Oh, that's not a tangent. That's on topic. Because I'm so happy with this match.
Oh my goodness. And Team Taz played this one straight. Like, they weren't going to be involved. They kept it clean when Ricky tried to bring the belt in.
Mm-hmm.
And then Starks and Cage had an amazing match. I want to see this again.
Yes, I want... Now, here's where we get to the truth. The real, honest to God, there is one AEW belt that's been defended fewer times than any of the NWA World Women's or the New Japan America, the IWGP US, whatever the fuck, and that is the FTW title.
Yep, like even on the pay-per-view with all the titles being defended,
not the FTW, but the FTW title has now got one defense to its name. There's a Brian Cage versus Ricky Starks match.
Yeah. Honestly, Cage is healed up, it looks like. Because when he first signed, he had that big arm injury on his big arm. Because he's massive.
Yeah.
Yeah. Looking at this match, like, I think he's about healed up 100%, it looks like.
Which is good. I'm excited to see Brian Cage kind of go off on his own and do his own thing, because I think he has the potential to be a better character than he has been with Team Taz.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Not that I dislike Team Taz, although I'd say a bunch of my affection for Team Taz does come from Taz on commentary on Dark.
Easily.
Like, what was it? Was it this week that Taz said, "I'm new at this"?
Yes.
Taz, who's been doing commentary for over a decade.
And doing Dark since it started. I'm new at this, bro.
I love how fucking chaotic AEW Dark is. It's just like 45 minutes to 3 hours of Excalibur razzing Taz. It's all ribs. It's a rib prep.
2 a.m. and they're tired. And they've got planes to catch at 4.
Yep. No, it's a lot of it is a joy to watch.
Mm-hmm.
It brings me immense amounts of joy, even if most of what I catch comes from Botchamania.
Matthew just grabs the good stuff, really.
Yeah, no, like there's fun stuff no matter what, but just enjoy catching the highlights of weird things Taz says.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, in this one though, like Team Taz was on the outside hook and Hobbs and they grabbed the belt away from Ricky when they tried to bring it in. And then Hobbs blasts Cage with it, setting him up to lose. So, if nothing else out of this, I want to see Cage versus Hobbs.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
Like, you want big meaty men slapping meat? That's big meaty men slapping meat.
I guess the problem with that is that I don't see there being a way that Team Taz doesn't interfere with Cage's matches against the rest of Team Taz.
Exactly.
Because now that he's betrayed them, Taz is out for blood.
Yep.
I don't know if you've... There's like fan art that I saw a while back that has like all of Team Taz drawn to proportion, and then just a tiny little Taz. It's like everyone else is like to scale, and Taz is like this big.
But he'll still suplex you.
Yes.
Perfectly. With great form.
He is the human suplex machine after all.
Mm-hmm. Oh gosh.
So anyway, it was there's a lot of really good stuff happening in W right now. Like there's not a ton to complain about.
No, like the best you could do is complain about like reactions to individual matches. But like that's not in their control.
No, people are gonna react how they react no matter what. So do we want to move on to what I would consider the most interesting of the feuds, or do we want to talk about Andrade?
The most interesting, the most alluring. Let's do Andrade.
Okay, so Andrade is just come into AEW to completely tear up in the best possible way. I love everything Andrade has done since joining AEW, especially bringing on Chavo Guerrero.
Oh my god, I was not expecting that this week.
It's one of those things that like, ooh, that was a good call.
I want to know if they told Vicky first. That Chavo was shown, or if it was just a big surprise.
I assume that they told her, right?
I would think so, but I think the surprise of what the hell are you doing here is hilarious.
Right, but if there's anyone who can act that, it's Vicky Guerrero.
Yeah.
I genuinely adore her.
She's a blessing.
Wrestling is so much better for having Vicky Guerrero in it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we had Andrade come out last week asking, where is the Death Triangle? He's looked around and he couldn't find them.
Mm-hmm.
So this week, he just went right up to the ring and said, where is Death Triangle? And they came out. Because that's what happens.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Andrade is literally only a hero.
Yeah, I believe it. That's why I don't look at anyone's age anymore.
I got old.
Yeah.
Which is to say that I am in my 30s now. My hips don't feel good when I wake up.
Mm-hmm. You're gonna have to get a supported seat cushion soon.
I mean, this chair is, like, very, very, very supportive.
Okay.
I paid a lot of money to get a very good chair.
Fair enough.
I'm in it most of the day, because, like, I have my day job, and then I have this, and I have podcast editing to do, and everything like that. I wanted a chair that was going to be comfortable for long-term use, so I got one that has really good lumbar support. My back doesn't hurt.
Yeah.
My hips do because I sit like a fegula.
That's fair. You know, we can't really fight that.
No, that's fair. It's one of those things. Also, for the listeners and viewers, fegula is not a slur. It's just how you say gay in Yiddish.
Suddenly, Robin Hood Men in Tights makes a lot more sense.
Did you really not get when Rabbi Tuckman said Regulus?
I didn't understand what he was saying. I got the implication of what he was saying, but now I understand the word.
No, it's a really good word because it means so. It mean like the literal translation is a small dove, which is just such a cute way to refer to gay people. They're little doves. They're fegulas.
Kurr, kurr. That's all I got. I'm not even sorry.
You don't need to be.
Okay, so this week Andrade in the Ring brings out Chavo as his new spokesperson, manager kind of deal, and calls out Death Triangle again, specifically to give Pentagon and Phoenix, who's back and looked so excited to be back, actually. He wanted to make them a deal where they work for him instead of working for Pac. But he missed a really important point in that Phoenix and Penta don't work for Pac. They all just like to kick people's asses, which they then tried to do, but the rest broke it up.
Hey, breaking news.
Breaking?
Breaking news. About a minute ago, a certain gritty hockey player has announced that, sorry, a gritty wrestler rather, has announced that they are going to be changing their name.
Ooh, okay.
Their Twitter @ still says the old name, but it's like a dysphoria thing, and someone owns that name, like Quackenbush. And I'm very excited to see what they come up with and what's next for them, because
awesome.
they absolutely deserve to feel good about themselves when they get introduced in the ring and feel good about how they are billed and themselves in any way, shape, or form. And I'm excited for what comes next.
That's really cool. I can't wait to hear more.
So for now, they're just Mix McCoy.
Yep. I love that title, by the way.
That is a pretty good name.
Mm-hmm. Like, MX in general is just good usage of English.
So yes, Death Triangle just hangs out with Pac because Pac is there and also likes to hurt people.
Yep.
The Lucha Bros are really just in it for the violence, not for any loyalty.
And it's really cool because a good portion of this whole interview, meeting, promo kind of thing was done in Spanish.
It's always enjoyable to get to hear people cut promos in their native language.
Yeah, like Penta stuff was translated because that's what Alex Abrahantes does for him.
Penta said.
But other than that, like, they just let them go. Like, if you don't know it, just try to figure it out, but we're not translating it all for you, so we're respecting you as an audience to do your job here.
Yeah, no, it's like it definitely shows a level of respect for the audience to say we're not going to handhold you.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna let these people speak with passion and with fire and with a better command of the language that they're speaking in, because we feel that that level of passion communicates regardless of complete comprehension. And it's not like fans of it's not like fans of American wrestling from different countries have the luxury of everything being translated for them either.
Yep. And
So
also,
just fucking deal, bud.
It probably did have a little to do with this one taking place in Texas, where I would hope more people understand some Spanish.
I mean,
the border's right there.
I'd hope.
I'd hope. But yeah, no, it was a cool promo. I want to see who Andrade brings in so he doesn't get his ass completely kicked by 3 different people. Because his agent and Chavo aren't going to do a whole lot.
Although Chavo did have that very, very, very good marathon match during Talkin' Shopomania.
Yep. Yep. I think he died after that or something.
Something like that.
Yeah, I do. That's my thought too. Is Andrade bringing over Russian Dragon Lee from Ring of Honor?
That would work. That would make sense.
That would be so cool, and it ties into a little bit of stuff in Mexico too,
which is always fun. I don't know. I like how open wrestling feels right now. Like I talked to you about this week. Yep. It feels like anything can happen in wrestling right now. And like the amount of crossover that happens, it's like, you know, when you get like a really good major story arc in comic books and there's a lot of crossover issues between the different like books and everything like that,
and you got to do a lot of work to keep up.
That's what this feels like in a really enjoyable way. Like you can keep up by keeping up with only one product, but you're not getting the full story. Just like if you only buy I don't know,
Superman,
X-Force, you're not gonna get the whole Civil War story.
Yeah, and it's like if you just watch AEW, you get a lot of really good stuff going on. If you watch Impact, you know Jay White showed up there.
Yeah, you had to
completely unannounced.
Jay White.
Cat will go straight for Jay White, or at least buy.
Look, I'm still figuring things out.
That's fair.
I like teasing. Only a month ago figured out that I was a bottom, so give me some space. It'll take a while.
I thought that was 2 months ago.
Whatever it was. We're not going to talk about that because.
Okay. We're not going to talk about it then. We're not going to talk about it then.
Okay.
Otherwise, if you do this, I'm going to call you a bottom.
I mean, most of that was me playing it up, but yeah, no, it's yes. Itsu points out that this is like a good version of the New 52.
Yeah, and unlike the New 52, I don't just have to read Harley Quinn so I can enjoy something out of it.
What do you mean you didn't like the Court of Owls storyline, or the Joker getting his face cut off storyline, or whatever the fuck was happening to Superman at the time? Because I only read Detective Comics.
But you see, Harley Quinn was in a roller derby league.
Okay, I should have been reading Harley Quinn, huh?
Yeah, I've got a bunch of them here. Actually, I'll try to find the next.
I've got a bunch of my Detective Comics and Bat Family stuff in.
I got some My Little Pony
closet.
If you want to read that too.
I don't. I don't particularly care for DC. It just was convenient at the time that I started getting into comics again that it was what was available. Because it's like, oh, DC is doing a full reboot. I can start getting into comics and not have to have decades of context.
No, My Little Pony was a different brand that did it.
So yeah, it's
anyway.
You know, DC is bad, Marvel is bad, comics are bad. Buy indie things.
Buy indie comics.
Buy indie comic. I mean, like, there's some really, not to go on a complete tangent.
We'd never do that in this show.
But there's some, like, really incredible stories told in indie comics that you don't get anywhere else. Like, except if by some miracle of a chance, those comics get made into movies that happen to star Iggy Pop. This is completely just me talking about the movie/comic book series Persepolis, which, if you've never seen it, is genuinely incredible.
I mean, my favorite movie star is an indie comic, so.
What's your favorite movie, Aaron?
The Crow.
Interesting. I did not know The Crow was your favorite movie.
I thought I'd mentioned that before.
Probably, but I also have a bad memory.
That's fair. Yeah, we'll put the crow on sometime, and I'll just go, ooh. It's so 90s.
Oh. Sorry, I sound like a fucking Ooblets NPC. Oh.
There's a game I haven't heard of in a while.
It's still fun.
Mm-hmm.
I think it launched too early.
Problem.
But they needed the money to keep making it. You know, like at a certain point, I get it. I'll come back to it later. Oh. Anyway.
So, what's this other big, exciting, mysterious storyline you were talking about before?
Oh, you mean the 5 Labors of Jericho?
What a weird concept.
Right? Is Jericho being played as some sort of Heracles figure?
Is he playing himself as a Heracles figure?
No. It's
Okay.
Jericho. Jericho
Okay.
doesn't claim to be the son of Zeus, does he?
He said he was the god of thunder.
Did he?
Yes.
I must have missed that. Okay, so maybe Jericho's playing it as a Heracles story. Not that he, you know, Zeus being the god of thunder and Heracles being... Anyway. So we had the first of the labors this week.
Mm-hmm.
Jericho versus Shawn Spears, with the stipulation that Spears can use a chair, Jericho cannot.
You know, it's an interesting stipulation. It's not...
It's a fun handicap.
It's not the farthest reaching they could go, but
No.
it's a good starting point. And I love Shawn Spears, so I just want to see him more.
And like, it was fun. It was a good match. It did end with Sammy having to interfere, though.
Yeah.
Because Tully Blanchard cheated first.
Yep, so Sammy just got him off the apron and got him out of the ringside area.
Mm-hmm.
I did like at the start where something was happening with JR's phone, so it sounded like he was physically phoning in his match right now.
Yep. Yep, that sounds very Jericho. Or not very Jericho, very... Ugh, my brain is broken. That sounds very JR.
Name.
Jim
yeah,
Ross
and then Jeff was on the comms.
Jim Ross has been phoning it in for decades. And I don't blame him for continuing to collect a paycheck.
Yeah, no.
So,
yeah, MJF was also on commentary for this one.
Yes, which is always fun. You know, we love seeing MJF. We love hearing MJF.
God, he's so annoying.
I love him.
Like, I'm not big on Jericho. I want Jericho to put his fist through MJF's face at the end of this just for catharsis.
Okay, yeah, I guess that's fair. I'm not big on Jericho for a multitude of shoot reasons, which is why I want MJF to win this feud. Because I want these long-standing feuds that MJF has, I want for him to continue winning them.
Yes.
Because I think MJF continuing to win these weird feuds, like these weird long-running feuds, the feud with Cody, feud he's got with Jericho, like, if MJF just keeps coming out on top and never actually gets his comeuppance, that's just so perfect.
And then, you know, in 3 to 4 years, when he's in the main event picture, it can all crash down on him.
Exactly, like, Jericho comes out of retirement or whatever to, like, beat up MJF on the side of the ring. It's like, they all of the people that MJF has wronged surround him and destroy him in 3 to 4 years.
I will be the most happy when Jungle Boy beats MJF for the world title.
That'll be good. One of the ones that's important to me is Wardlow betraying MJF. That's gotta be the thing that makes him lose the match.
Yeah, that's gotta be a big thing at some point.
Right? Like, MJF can lose individual matches throughout this whole thing, but the culmination of the feud should continue to be MJF winning.
Yes.
Because I like to see MJF win, and also because I think it makes his continued feuds very interesting that like kind of come to expect that the bad guy's not gonna get his comeuppance.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that. They're building MJF and Wardlow like Batista and Triple H. Okay, yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, a little bit.
So Jericho wins with a Judas effect, and then
Yep.
MJF says, and it comes out clapping sarcastically, "Mazel tov, Chris. Congrats on your win. Only next time it's gonna be harder because you've still got a bunch more trials. I've got a special surprise." And then he points at the wrong tunnel.
Yep.
And then out of the
Into
heel
face
tunnel comes Nick frickin' Gage.
Cat, we're allowed to swear on this show.
I know, but I was quoting
I know.
MJF directly there.
Oh my god. You want to know what I really didn't expect this week on Dynamite?
Nick fucking Gage?
Nick fucking Gage.
MDK all fucking day.
Just so they're setting up a death match. An AEW death match.
A no disqualifications match.
Oh, okay, that's better actually. A no disqualifications match for next week on Dynamite between Nick fucking Gage and Chris Jericho in his persona of the Painmaker.
Yep.
So it was really nice that Jericho had a career this long.
Yeah.
I hope he enjoys retirement.
Do you think he makes it to retirement?
I hope so. I don't really want to see that on live TV.
That's fair. That was mostly it.
I know.
Jericho's actually going to die. Like, I'm very excited for this match, even if it is going to be a watered down version of.
Oh yeah, but even still, like Dynamite brought in what was it? 1.15
last week.
million people watching Dynamite. So that many people saw Nick Gage already.
Mm-hmm.
Over 1 million people know who Nick Gage is now.
And probably, I assume a bunch of them went to look him up.
Yep.
And then about
immediately closed their browser window.
60% of them were disgusted. Joking aside, though, like, it's really cool that he's getting this shot. I know this isn't going to be a permanent thing.
No. Like, wasn't the rumor that last year for the...
When they got Eddie Kingston, it was supposed to be Nick Gage, but he injured himself at the Beyond Homecoming show.
By breaking his ankle.
Yes. No, it was GCW Homecoming, and there was the Beyond show in the afternoon, where he was wrestling as a trio with someone else and Tony Deppen, and they got billed as Murder, Depp, and Kill.
Yep.
That's the match he broke his ankle.
Yep. I could probably go find the exact spot, because he spent a lot of time outside getting checked.
Yeah, and then he had to pull out of GCW's Homecoming show that night.
Mm-hmm.
And then AEW was like, well, no Nick Gage, I guess we're getting Eddie Kingston. And look how that turned out. They got, like, I think they might have, like, lucked out on that one.
Honestly?
Like, I love Nick Gage, but his presence is going to be a temporary thing in AEW.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's not interested in sugar glass wrestling. He's not interested in sanded down barbed wire wrestling. He's interested in beating people with light tubes.
Yeah.
It's going to be very, very exciting to see him get to prove that he's actually a good wrestler.
Yep.
In front of, hopefully, over 1 million people.
And I've said it before on here. This is one of, like, the absolute strengths I see in AEW, in that they are willing to bring in people, regardless of big name, little name, whatever. They're willing to bring people in for 1 or 2 or 3 show sprints.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're not going to worry about signing you. You're just going to show up, do what we need, and we've got your number for later.
We're going to have fun. You're going to have fun. We're going to get a good match out of it. You're going to get better recognition out of it. It's like you get paid for it. There's literally no downside as an indie wrestler to doing that. Other than, like, maybe just a little bit of street cred. But, like, Nick fucking Gage is willing to do it. Who are you to say no, you know?
Yeah. You're not more hardcore than Nick fucking Gage. So you know what? Take the payday.
Yeah. I'd be interested to see, like, there's a lot of talent out there that I'd like to see get to wrestle on the big stage, you know?
Mm-hmm. I mean, we saw Ricky Shane Page a couple weeks ago.
That's true. We did see RSP.
We've seen Pretty Boy Smooth. I still really want them to get a very good professional wrestler on there.
I think that would be very good.
Mm-hmm. I think he'd have a great... Yeah, we had Willow. We now officially have Thunder Rosa.
Yes, Thunder Rosa is now officially All Elite.
Yeah, because her contract wasn't running out until next year, but she wanted out of NWA to go over to AEW, so AEW just bought the contract out. Yeah?
No, I mean, like,
so
you know,
hopefully.
First of all, like, I think the expectation is probably that. So this is I'm thinking about this in the perspective of hockey, right? Like, when you have a player in the last year of their contract, and you expect that they will be very expensive to re-sign next year, it makes far more sense to ship them off somewhere else.
Yep.
For something than it does to lose them for nothing.
Yep.
And in this case, it's clear that Thunder Rosa was not going to re-sign with NWA. And even if she did, she would be much more expensive because she's a television-ready household name. So if I'm Billy Corgan, if I'm a rat in a cage somewhere, I'm gonna be like, okay, AEW wants to buy out this contract. I can get whatever million or whatever for it. I'm gonna take the million. You know, I'm gonna take the money. Especially for somewhere like NWA that hasn't had a lot of chances to perform. That money is something they need.
Now the rumor is also that WWE was interested in Thunder Rosa.
That checks out.
As a referee.
Yep, that checks out. Speaking of Thunder Rosa, though, can we talk about her fucking ring gear at Slammiversary?
Where she showed up as the surprise opponent for Deonna Purrazzo.
It was incredible. If you haven't seen it, you owe it to yourself to look up Thunder Rosa's Slammiversary ring gear.
I think it's her Twitter profile picture right now.
It almost assuredly is. It is. She's got a very, like, strong presence of Aztec warrior, you know?
It's so cool looking. I still haven't seen Slammiversary. I hear all the matches were really good. There was a fork involved in Kenny's.
There's a pizza cutter involved in Kenny's.
Yep. That's another thing. Nick Cage brought out a pizza cutter.
Yep. Apparently, like, pizza cutters are like the new faux deathmatch item.
Okay.
I can see why. I mean, like, they're relatively safe. Have you ever tried to cut yourself with a pizza cutter?
Thankfully, no.
Okay. I get bored and sometimes play with knives because I'm a knife pervert. Pizza cutters are not sharp.
So you see, I get bored and respect my knives.
Sure. I respect my knives too. I still play with them.
It's closed, it's safe, it's secure.
Like, a pizza cutter can cut you, but it's the kind of thing where you have to put a lot of pressure on. Particularly because of the wheelie nature of it. Like, it's not gonna stay stable, so it just kind of like...
Kind of like a Warburton wheel.
A Wartenberg pinwheel?
There we go.
Yeah, it's a Patrick Warburton wheel. The wheel for Cusco. Cusco's wheel.
Oh, that was a good podcast we used to have. Goodbye, everyone.
You set yourself up for that one.
Probably.
But yeah, no, Wartenberg pinwheels are great. I said that. Yep.
Yes, you did. On our innocent podcast about wrestling, where you've definitely never perved on anything.
Well, it's been fun, everyone. I'm gonna go hang my head in shame.
Really, what I think we need to do now is do a Patreon-only
fun.
episode, just going over kinks and stuff. Oh, thank God. He's gone. Now it's just my show. You can hear my boring ramblings about wrestling. But you get that anyway. Okay, I actually need Kat to come back now because I want to talk about the Hangman stuff. But I know he's going to be just as excited as me.
Kidding, I'm back. I got a White Claw. I didn't get the pinwheel.
Oh, good.
I don't want us to get banned.
I was saying it's great. It's my show now. But I want to talk about the Hangman stuff, and I need you here for that because I'm sure you're going to be just as excited.
Hangman who? I'm here for John Silver and John Silver only.
I mean, that's completely valid.
That's a lie, though. I mean, have you seen him? And now he's got, like... Nope, I'm not gonna say that on this show.
Okay, who are we talking about?
Hangman.
Okay.
I mean, like, the fact that he's gonna be a dad means he's definitely got that... How do I say this in a way that's TOS friendly?
Hangman fucks.
Right, we already know he's also Hangman.
Yep. Go back to some old being the elite for that.
So I guess Hangman got that dad dick, you know?
Yep.
There's something special about it.
Oh, God.
Yes, he's a DILF. Look, like I said, I'm still figuring out what my sexuality is.
I will go back to what I said 2 years ago. Hangman's hot.
Yeah.
He's a good-looking guy.
Of course. His politics are good, too.
Yeah. He's not a piece of shit.
That's the best part.
He just wants to wrestle and cut his lawn and not have people suffer.
So,
So as we were saying.
So there's the feud story, whatever you want to call it, that's been building for 2 years?
It's the start of the company, basically.
Of how Hangman got his groove back.
Yep. AEW is the story of Hangman Adam Page.
Thus far.
Yep.
I think, like, AEW, the story of AEW is closely tied to the story of Hangman Adam Page. But I would also contend that the story of AEW is the story of Jungle Boy. The Jungle Book, if you will. I would contend that AEW is the story of MJF.
Okay, yep.
The story of Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks and Cody, those all go beyond AEW.
Yeah, that's like the running start they needed. So they get all this groundwork going for all this other stuff we see now.
And I'm incredibly incredibly glad we get to see all of this really cool stuff happening.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's... Go ahead.
I just wish I could hit fast forward because I want to see what we get to.
But much like Adam Sandler and Click, we don't want to fast forward through our entire lives and miss all the good parts and the bad parts.
Yep.
You're gonna eat a prickly pear. Don't use the bear paw, use the claw. What?
I think this is a quote from a movie.
Or it's from the game Spy Fox. The first time I heard about prickly pears was in the game Spy Fox.
Okay. So, and like we're getting to the climax of one of those stories. Specifically Adam Page and Kenny Omega. With Adam Page's complete fall off in confidence and into alcoholism, abuse by friends and outsiders, to getting picked up by the Dark Order and supported and just being their friend, which is what people honestly need, to last week where Page was brought out for an interview that quickly got interrupted by Callis and the Elite, who just took every cheap shot they could at him over the past 2 years. Matt Jackson even pointing out how much his breath smelled of liquor still. So Hangman punched him.
Deservedly so.
And then he punched a lot of other people. And then the Dark Order came out. Because they got his back on this.
Yeah, they do, because they're his friends. They're not there for, like, glory or a chance at the titles or anything like that. They're there because Hangman is their friend. And they care about their friends.
And so what came of this was we're going to get next week a 5v5 Dark Order versus the Elite. And Kenny offered this up with, if the Dark Order loses, then Hangman loses his title shot. And Uno and Grayson, I'm guessing, will lose the title shot that was put on the line for them in the match. So,
But if they win,
everyone gets their title shots, which is amazing.
Including, does that include 10 going after Miro?
No, they only did the heavyweight and the tag titles. Because no one in the Elite has the TNT titles.
But
so
they are EVPs.
Do you really want to piss off Miro like that, potentially?
God's favorite champion?
Yeah, I don't want to choose his people for him.
That's fair. Only Hashem can.
So, yeah, Kenny's trying to talk him out of it. And Kenny stares him dead in the eyes and tells him, the Dark Order does not back down from a fight. Hear that again. The Dark Order does not back down from a fight. It's not me and the Dark Order. It's just the Dark Order. It's as significant, I think, as Colt coming out and doing the Dark Order hand for the first time on Brody Lee's memorial show.
Yeah.
It's just like, yeah, I'm in. This is where I want to be.
It's as significant as, like, I'm gonna try to think of something that's, like, equally significant. It's as significant as Matt and Nick kicking him out of the Elite.
Yeah. It's one of those major beats along this storyline.
Aaron, can I interrupt again with some more breaking news?
Yes.
Can we have a moment of silence for the career of Owen Power, who was picked as the first overall draft pick by the Buffalo Sabres? Sorry about your career, Owen.
You might go better places.
After the best years of your career.
Yeah.
I say that being a Devils fan. The Devils were not much better than the Sabres this year.
I grew up around Sabres fans, and I don't think I've ever seen them happy.
Yeah, that's fair.
They never seem to have a season that's just okay. It's just terrible all the time.
There's okay, my favorite part of the hockey season is draft day, because there's some just wild trades that happen on draft day.
Mm-hmm.
They just announced a buck wild trade. So the Blackhawks get Seth Jones from the Blue Jackets, as well as the 32nd overall pick, the 2022 6th round pick that the Blue Jackets would have. And the Blue Jackets get Adam Boquist, 2021 12th overall pick, 21 second round, and the 22 first round pick from Chicago. It's a wild trade.
Yeah. And yeah, look, I grew up around Toronto fans too. They didn't have many good seasons either.
Okay. What are we calling this version of Marking Out where we talk about hockey?
Well, we've already done the hockey show.
Did we? What do
Yeah,
we
that's
call
when
it?
I think we just called it the hockey episode.
Oh. Well, that's boring. We should have called it Checking Off.
Well, I mean, that's how I used to name all the episodes.
You know,
That's what we have
checking
the
off with my
strap-on episode.
girlfriend.
That's why we have this
Oh, that's right. We
strap-on
called it
episode.
Jocking Off. Thank you, Aitsu.
Chucking off. Yep. So yes, back to wrestling. We're getting a 5v5, and the Dark Order has to win for them to get any title shots. So I hope they win, because otherwise, what the fuck you gonna do at Full Gear, Adam Page?
Yeah.
But I'm really looking forward to it. And there's still, like, after they do that, there'll still be like a month of build up to All Out, which they can do a lot in a month.
That is very true. I've got a good tweet for us. Share. This is in reference to all of the Cornette fans saying that what Sting was doing with Orange Cassidy was ruining his career.
Yep, that sacred career of Sting.
Who's done this weird Joker bit.
That was TNA.
And that time he got bit by a dog.
Yep.
And that time he was hanging out with RoboCop.
That was the early 90s WCW.
And the time he shot lasers out of his eyes.
Yep, also early 90s WCW. Ugh. Wrestling is not sacred, people. Fuck around with it.
Also, Joker Sting was a very good bit. Like, the Joker is an interesting character for a reason.
I mean,
we live in a society, Aaron.
Joker Sting wasn't interesting.
Joker Sting.
It was literally done because that was the look after Heath Ledger.
There are better stories to tell with the Joker than what people tell with the Joker.
Mm-hmm.
The closest one we got was fucking... What's his fuck? You know, the vegan one.
What?
Joaquin Phoenix. There we go. I remembered River Phoenix.
Okay.
I had to take a second to get there.
I haven't seen that movie.
It's pretty good. Like,
I haven't wanted to watch it.
It's... If you don't want to watch it...
I saw all the people raving him. I was like, I'm not sure I want to understand them.
I mean, like, it's definitely got a... It's a weird movie because I think the message gets a little confused at times, but it definitely seems like it's portraying the Joaquin Phoenix version of the Joker as, like, someone disaffected by modern society in a way that is relatable to a lot of people on the left.
Okay. The people on the left are not the ones I see talking about it.
Interesting. It's like a lot of what that movie is about is like the struggle to survive in a increasingly industrialized, not industrialized, but like alienating workforce that like drains you of your humanity in order to make you the most efficient work drone possible. They want people to be bees. basically.
Buzz, motherfucker.
Surprise, motherfucker. I'm AMAB, which means I do nothing except fuck. Do you think there are trans bees? Yes, there is. The Minecraft bee. Everyone knows the Minecraft bee is trans.
I'm so glad I could help you with that. uh,
Yeah, I appreciate jobs that treat you like a human.
mm-hmm.
I work
This
for a
one's pretty
great
good.
company that definitely treats me like a human. Soses Media is a wonderful place to work. You
Yeah.
just, have to be dating one of me, Emma, Erin, or Erica.
And I'm not available.
Yeah, you're at poly capacity.
I think I'm at saturation point, yeah.
I'll figure it out. The polycule server is getting pretty large, though.
Well, it's not all partners anymore.
No, it's not. They're members of the polycule in a broader sense.
That's what I'm saying. It's like when it was just partners, like it was relatively small and compact.
Mm-hmm.
But now we're expanding, and it's
even then,
better.
it's not like all of our partners either.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Welcome to polyamory with my girlfriends. There's enough podcasts out there about that.
Yeah, there's absolutely a reason why we mark out hard for the polyam cult parties.
Yep. Yes, I too. Not partners, but definitely family.
Family. It's about family. Sandy? It's me. John Travolta. In Greece. Sandy.
What?
Sorry, I'm doing free association because I'm a little drunk, and there was a moment on Hey Riddle Riddle last week, specifically during the Clue Crew episode where they were doing JPC's acting school. It's a whole thing. You should listen to Hey Riddle Riddle. This is the official Soses Media Working Out with My Girlfriend endorsement of Hey Riddle Riddle, a podcast about riddles where all of the hosts hate riddles.
I tried listening to that. I listened to 3 episodes. I went, what the fuck am I listening to? This makes no sense.
So anyway, I'm just over the moon with this storyline with Kenny, and
yeah, it's playing out like pretty much in the way we thought it would, and I'm so excited to see how they finish it.
It's going to be good. No matter what. I trust AEW will not blue ball us on their biggest storyline in company history.
Yeah. Like, I know that's come up a few times, where usually when you have a story like this, you bring up the babyface and then they lose it at a critical moment.
Mm-hmm.
So you get even more support behind them to make that final push. I don't think you can do that here. I don't think you can get Hangman more over.
I think, though, that you do in this elimination tag match have Kenny eliminate Hangman.
Yes. I think that's a very safe way of doing it.
It shows that it's going to be a fight for Hangman to win.
Yeah.
And it allows, I think, the Dark Order probably end up having to work together to eliminate Kenny.
Yeah, they basically have to wear him down probably 3 or 4 on 1.
Mm-hmm. That's the best way to do it, because it keeps your champion looking strong. And it puts your contender down, but doesn't eliminate him from the title picture.
Exactly.
So, yeah, no, I'm excited. Also, don't forget, I think we're probably about to wrap up, eh?
I think we're getting to that point.
Okay, so a couple things. One, don't forget this Sunday at 7 Central on ABC on Family Feud that you could catch Jungle Boy and Peter Avalon teaming up with David Arquette, Dalton Castle, and RJ City on Family Feud.
The forbidden door has been kicked down, removed from its hinges, and thrown to a scrapyard.
Yes, because we've got Jungle Boy, Peter Avalon, Dalton Castle, RJ City, and David Arquette playing Family Feud together
Yep.
against Paul Rubens' team?
That checks out for RJ.
It really does. I just want to say, good for Paul Rubens, you know? Like, he deserves to be able to have his career. Also, Joe Manganiello's on his team?
Apparently.
And Drew Carey?
Doesn't Drew Carey host that show?
No. Steve Harvey hosts that show. Drew Carey hosts
that's why I don't
Price
watch
is
that
Right.
one. That's why I don't watch that one.
Yeah, no. Fuck Steve Harvey, but I will watch it mostly for the fact that, you know, there's going to be a bunch of people I like on it.
Yep. And you're finally going to have a WWE worker working with people outside the company.
Mm-hmm.
It's RJ City, and he's working on a game show.
One more breaking news interruption.
Oh my goodness, this is the third.
I know. The Devils have drafted Luke Hughes, younger brother of their star player Jack Hughes, as their first round pick. We're gonna have a brother team!
Hopefully there's not sibling rivalry.
Oh, no. It's good that they're on the same team. There won't be sibling rivalry. Because they're on the same team, they're working together. Their goals are the same. Not their actual scored goals, but their desired achievements are the same.
Mm-hmm.
There's a pretty strong history, actually, of brothers playing together in hockey. There's also a pretty strong history of brothers being on the Devils. The Devils, before, sorry to go on a tangent again, before Lou Lamoriello left, there was a long and storied history of the Devils using some of their lower draft picks to pick family members of long-tenured players as like a thank you for your service kind of thing.
Okay.
Which once has worked out in their favor. The reason that they do that is because they did not pick Scott Niedermayer's brother. The Ducks got him. And as a result, Niedermayer left to go to the Ducks and won a cup with the Ducks instead of winning a fourth with the Devils. Because his mom was like, Scotty, you gotta go help your brother win a cup. So he did.
Now, it's funny you bring that up because there's also a long and storied history of wrestlers who are brothers.
Such as
the Young Bucks, the Hardy Boys, not Edge and Christian, they're just friends. The Rougeau brothers, Owen and Brett, Harlem Heat. The Steiners are actually brothers.
Mm-hmm.
The Wild Samoans, I believe, were brothers, or at least cousins. Because that's the whole
Fatu family.
Yeah.
The whole Fatu family.
They just run half of wrestling, to be honest.
The Usos, speaking of the Fatu family.
Yeah. Like, if you just want to put a whole bunch of that. The Rhodes, Cody and Dustin. The Vachons, the Von Erichs. I'm sure I can come with more, but I'm on the spot right now. I didn't plan for this spot.
Well, the Funks, Aitsu points out, the Pothos.
Yep. Oh yeah, the Pothos did wrestle together. The Rockin' is dead. Oh goodness.
So anyway, Aaron, have we done like literally everything that we normally do on this show?
I think we did.
Okay, I'm gonna finish my second drink then so we can finish this episode. Alright. Thank you all very much for coming out to a very weird, very manic episode. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you for sticking around. Love you all. I'm not gonna be heel this time. I think I'm done with the heel thing for now.
Oh, you want to do like maybe a tweener spot?
Maybe.
Okay.
So anyway, just remember the thing that we always say at the end of every episode. Be gay. Mwah. Do.
Marking Out with My Girlfriend is a production of Soses Media. Check us out at soses.ca. Music has been provided by Sounds Like an Earful.